Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough game. They're one of the hardest playing teams in the country every year. Coach Sampson does a great job getting them to play hard. They got a great defensive system. They're fluctuating between number one and number two in the country in defensive efficiency on KenPom. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the country every year. So we're going to get tested in different ways than we've been tested before. We made a big point of emphasis on rebounding. It's one thing to make point of emphasis in practice, another thing to actually be able to execute it in the game against a team that's as good as they are. So they're going to give us a good test. Our offense can have to be good. We're going to have to take care of the ball. They're pressure into a lot of turnovers, and then on the defensive end, we're going to have to really make sure we take care of the glass and try to only give them one shot as often as possible.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll go ahead and start with questions. Let's go first to Charlie Potter.
Hey, Coach. You talked about Houston on the defensive end. Just how important is it to kind of combat against that, but also kind of match them on the end of the floor?
What was the end of the question? Sorry.
I would say combat it, but then also match it with your defense on the other end.
Oh, yeah. No, we're trying to get our defense back up. We were top 5 in the country last year. They are this year. Our defense is going to have to finish the possession with a defensive rebound in order to be good. But, you first got to get them to miss. We've got to play good defense. They've got really good players. They run a lot of really good stuff. I think we've had a week to prepare for them. I think we're well prepared, but we're going to have to come out and really play well. And then, if our defense is good, I think we can get out and transition some. And, if we're able to score in transition and get our own defense set, it kind of becomes cyclical. But, I do think it all starts with our defense, our rebounding, and then taking care of the ball on offense.
Let's go next to Tony Tsoukalas.
Yeah, Nate, it's not often that you get a full week, especially one that you don't have to travel to prepare. What have you been doing kind of in this week? Are you able to do anything different or more in depth with the extra time?
Yeah, a little bit. We gave them Sunday off because we got back so late from Gonzaga. Then we came in Monday and really just did a bunch of cleanup of our own. We didn't really focus anything on Houston. So we were able to take a full day where we didn't worry about any opponent or anything on Monday. We gave them Tuesday off because we're in finals week, and we didn't really want to practice them 5 straight days going into the game. We wanted to make sure their legs were fresh. But then Wednesday, Thursday, we got after it pretty good. We went a little longer, put the full Houston scout in, and then today we backed it off, try to make sure their legs are back under them by game time tomorrow night.
Mike Rodak, go ahead.
I think it's been about 14 years since there's been a top 15 versus top 15 game in Coleman. Just what are you looking forward to in terms of the atmosphere? And I know the students I think they just got out of finals, but what would you like to see from them?
It's been 14 years since there was 2 top 15 teams playing Coleman.
2007.
Who was it back then?
It was Alabama, LSU.
There you go. I didn't realize that. So it's it's going to be good. We tried to give our fan base a really good non-conference schedule. Even the games early in the year, I thought, we're against quality teams. South Dakota State was picked to win their league, and the other teams played hard, played good. South Alabama being from here, but this is a premier game. They played in the Final Four last year. They're top 15 in the country. Coach Sampson's one of the best coaches in the country. So it would have been ideal if we could have maybe played this game when we're going to have all the students on campus. I realize a lot of them will maybe have left for finals. Hopefully we can still get the place full, close to a sellout. It's a good game, and the community seems like they're really behind us, interested in it. Maybe, it's a later tip on a Saturday night. Hopefully we can still get a good amount of people down from Birmingham. But we're trying to put quality games on the schedule for our fan base here in Tuscaloosa and in the state of Alabama, this being one of the better ones we've been able to put on the schedule.
Katie Wyndham.
Coach, how pleased were you with the maturity your team showed against Gonzaga in that tough environment in Seattle to just respond and not fold whenever Gonzaga cut it close to be able to respond?
Yeah, I thought that was big. You know, we kind of came out, played well in the first half, built up that 16-point lead. Well, Gonzaga's a really good team. We're playing, you know, essentially a road game with everybody there in the state of Washington. And when they made their runs in the second half and that place got loud, we thought we responded every time they made a run. You know, and it wasn't just responding with made shots. When they cut that to 4 there later in the game, we didn't score our way back in it initially. We had to get stop after stop after stop until we finally hit those back-to-back threes to open it up. So thought it showed some resilience. Thought it showed our defense is coming. You know, we've got some toughness about us. We've got some guys that are competing, trying to win. And we had some guys in the game, you know, that maybe hadn't played in that type of environment or that type of pressure. You know, Darius Miles was in there late, you know, and he was Noah Gurley, you know, JD was playing well for us. You know, those guys hadn't been in big games, that type of environment before that. So I was happy to see them play as well as they did.
All right, looks like this will be the last question. Go ahead, Tony.
Hey, Jaden was asked about Bryce and the Heisman, and I just wanted to ask you, given the talent on your team and then the talent you're bringing in, how soon do you think that you'll have kids compete for, you know, the Naismith or an equivalent award to the Heisman?
Shoot, I mean, that's a big award. It's a pretty cool deal. I mean, hopefully Bryce gets it. You know, it's great to be at a university where they've got big-time players at a lot of different sports across the board. You know, our recruiting's going well, but I think we've got guys on the current roster that are on the watch list for some of those awards. And depending on how well, you know, we do, it'll, right, you know, voting tends to go winners' directions in a lot of those awards. So you look at us last year and you look at Herb's numbers, those weren't typical numbers for an SEC player of the year, but we won in such dominating fashion, and he was such a big part of what we did and kind of our glue guy that everybody voted for him, and deservedly so. Shoot, he's starting on an NBA roster right now. So I think we've got guys on the roster right now, though, that, you know, if we can win, and we really took off. You look at what we did last year, we were 4-3 after 7 games. So it was about this time of the year last year that we started to take off. You know, if we can take off and win at a high level, who knows what awards our guys may be able to get, because we've got some really talented players on the roster in the future. Years moving forward, we've got some really talented players coming in, and I just think, you know, we've got to say when the tide rises, all the boats rise. I think when we play well and win at a high level, guys are up for those awards. You know, football wins at a really high level over there, and guys tend to be up for those awards when they win at a high level, and I think Bryce is deservedly on that list and hopefully ends up getting that award.